Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I am going to do your January the 3rd spiritual principle a day in a meditation brought to you by Hope Through Navigation. And this is our H.O.O.D recovery services. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Okay, the title of the meditation is Coming to Accept Ourselves. Our sponsors' acceptance and our higher powers' unconditional love made it possible for us to judge ourselves less harshly. It works. Step 12. No one comes to NA on a winning streak. Denial had helped us ignore the wreckage, but those days are long gone. Our minds no longer reassure us. You're living the dream, especially considering the lousy hand you've been dealt. In early recovery, we may experience rare glimpses of self-acceptance, but the mental beatings we give ourselves keep that optimism in check. We are undoubtedly our harshest critics. That's especially true when we make mistakes, not showing up for a friend in need, unintentionally making another member uncomfortable, blowing off a commitment, using again. Even for members in long-term recovery, our disease continues to urge us to judge ourselves. Not being real about our mistakes and overindulging in self-pity or self-destructiveness runs counter to accepting ourselves as works in progress. One member recalled, through his steady encouragement in the face of my self-made disasters, my sponsor showed me unconditional love and helped me to open to how a higher power was expressing it in my life. My sponsors showed me unconditional love and helped me be open to how a higher power was expressing it in my life. That makes more sense. As my recovery continued, the chaos lessened, but the temptation to beat myself up remained. Sharing the exact nature of my wrongs in step 5 and still being accepted unconditionally helped me unclench my fist a little quicker. Sponsors tell us the truth about ourselves. Inevitably, that truth is more loving, forgiving, and accepting than our version of things. Working the steps with our sponsor teaches us to find that truth for ourselves. Through the practice of prayer and meditation, we can check in with a higher power to guide us toward what is real about ourselves, our decisions, our mistakes, rather than relying on what our minds tells us. I'll resist the urge to beat myself up today. Instead, I'll pick up the phone and call my sponsor. I'll take a moment with my higher power and get real. That's a beautiful meditation. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This process of accepting ourselves, self-acceptance, is a work in progress at best. Many people will tell you that they have self-acceptance. And in the very next sentence, or the very next moment or the very next day, they will say something that is so derogatory about themselves. And you don't see it like that. You don't agree with that. I have a friend that every time I say something that diminishes the strength of what God is doing in my life, they always say, there you go again. And it's the craziest thing because I am not thinking, oh, I'm ragging on myself horribly. I'm not thinking, oh, I'm being my harshest critic. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm being humble and I'm keeping it 100. And they remind me, you have what you say. Your words have power. So if you are talking negatively about what God is doing in your life or what you're doing, then that's going to be the underflow of what comes out of you. And people can pick that up just like he's picking it up. People can pick that up. I'm not saying that I shouldn't scrutinize myself. I'm not saying that I need to be honest about where I'm at. But there definitely is a balance that needs to be attained. Because if I don't acknowledge the successes for myself, how would I ever be able to make sure that I honor the failures? I have to do both. It's like two sides of a coin. You don't have a one-sided coin. No, not the kind that you spend at the Dollar Tree. You don't have a one-sided coin. Every coin has two sides. And this meditation is talking about us having the ability to judge ourselves less harshly. That does not mean that I don't take an honest accounting of where I'm at. It means that I turn off the butt kicking machine and I express my gratitude. At least I'm alive. I made it. I made it to the new year. I made it. I'm here. I'm still recovering. And even if I had used, if I'm waking up, if I can look up, I can get up. And there will be beautiful people like you in Narcotics Anonymous. When you see someone down, if you're looking at them that way, it's because you're trying to help them up, not because you're being judgmental about them. You know, this is the best thing since sliced butter bread because this has taught us how to not only care for others, care for community, but care for ourselves. Now, there is a portion in here that struck me as interesting, and it's the section that talks about sponsorship, that our sponsors tell us the truth about ourselves. Many people are struggling because they don't have a sponsor. They don't have that person that their whole focus is the spiritual principles of the steps and traditions. They don't have a person that has a working knowledge of them and can listen to you talk and then give you feedback about what they're hearing and what step you are or are not, the spiritual principle of it working. Writing the steps is very important. I love it. It's awesome journaling. Basically, that's what it is. It's awesome journaling. But at some point in time, what you've written, or even just what you're going through on a day-to-day basis, should be bounced off of someone that can help you understand what spiritual principles of the steps should be or could be or are being applied and where there's room for improvement. A lot of times we don't have a sponsor because we're not open to suggestions on that level. So I just want to encourage you today to resist the urge to beat yourself up. Instead, I want you to pick up your phone, your cell phone, text or call your sponsor. If you don't have a sponsor, I want you to actively be looking for a sponsor. I'm not saying drop your standards of what a sponsor should be, but just remember people are people and everyone has just passed through a horrible season. Really don't know anyone that hasn't lost a loved one in the last 3 years. So people are still grieving. People are still hesitant about doing things in person. Just remember, whoever you pick, they're going to have bad days. They're going to be human. But I want you to find yourself a sponsor and take some time for prayer and meditation to spend with your higher power. And if you don't have a higher power, I want you to start writing about who or what your higher power should or should not be. My name is Mighty Stream, and you've been in the flow of the stream today. I want you to get out there and do something mighty with your January the 3rd. It's your January the 3rd, and it's the only one like it that you will ever get. Just for today, I want you to make it a beautiful January the 3rd on purpose. Talk to you soon.